You're listening to Kizuki, the podcast. I'm Mae Yoshikawa, and I define the Japanese concept of Kizuki as the following. Kizuki. 1. A moment of epiphany, an aha of realization or insight which opens the knower to a new dimension of truth that was formerly unknown. 2. Steps in an incremental growth of awareness, resulting in a movement from ignorance to greater awareness of the bigger picture. A kind of knowing that cannot be undone, that cannot be unrealized. As a longtime yoga and meditation practitioner, a world traveler, and curious self-explorer, I'm obsessed with Kizukis. Listen on each week for inspiring and enlightening stories that may just tip you over for your next aha. On this week's episode, the balance you're not supposed to work for. Before I fully stepped into work mode this year, I was given a rare gift. In Japan, New Year's is one of the biggest holidays of the year. Everything and everyone slows down, thank God. The entire country exhales from its workaholism. And because of that, I got to begin 2026 gently. For the first several days of the year, I made a point of sleeping in every morning. I would never reach for my phone first thing. I would just wake up slowly and gently with my journal and pen by my pillow. And in those half-awake moments, before the identity and regular rhythm kicked in, before habits and expectations returned, I would make a point of using the tip of my pen to tune into something intentional. Not who I've been, not who I'm used to being just because, but who I now am, and deliberately so. Each morning, I gave myself a fresh prompt. Just one. Not a goal or affirmation, not a plan. Just an angle to kind of orient myself and give myself a fresh in to this new version of me that I was tuning into. And then I would write and write and write. Today, I thought to share one of those pages with you. It's personal, but there's a Kizuki in it that I felt too important to keep to myself. The prompt on that morning was this. How do I recognize, feel, and receive nervous system safety today? Now, this question didn't just pop out of nowhere. The day before, I had had a long conversation with a dear friend, and we were talking about this wired up state so many of us live in. The kind I often speak about on this podcast, that constant background alertness, the nervous system that never fully stands down. For many of us, this alertness, this overvigilance began in childhood. Most people I know did not grow up in environments that felt emotionally or psychologically safe in a consistent way. Even if we were fed and clothed and always had a house, even if no one would call our upbringing bad. The nervous system doesn't work with labels like that. It works with perception, subjective perception. And when a child perceives instability, unpredictability, judgment, or emotional threat, the nervous system adapts brilliantly by being alert all the time. It develops coping strategies to survive the environment that it finds itself in day after day. So in my case, as some of you might have heard a lot before, I learned to brace. It's subtle because it's internal. I don't raise my voice, but the nervous system braces. It's constrictive. I learned to preemptively tighten, to anticipate the fall or judgment or attack, even before it came. I grew up as the youngest of 4 siblings, and there was a lot of teasing in my childhood home. Just so much of it, everywhere, in every way. Of course, often it was playful, but more often it was too sharp, and sometimes it was just judgment disguised as humor. And humiliation too, because there was a lot of embarrassment and shame entangled in that mix. So my young body learned something very early. Stay alert and brace before you let that stuff in too deep. Somehow, this unnamed, unspoken belief followed me into adulthood because it was rather embedded in my system by then, right? This assumption that the world might not be safe at any moment, even by the ones that are supposed to love you most, and that I needed to stay on guard always. That ease wasn't natural, and if it came, it was temporary, that I always had to be ready. The thing is, though, awareness changes everything, or it gives us the opportunity to reevaluate and change everything. Because as grown adults, we can begin to see these patterns at work within us. Then recognize them, not as flaws, but as adaptations that developed in a given environment. And instead of trying to fix the nervous system like there's something wrong with it, we see how brilliant it is that it protected us in that way for so long. And in that gentle approach, we can begin to reassess, recalibrate, and teach the nervous system something new. That I am safe now. Not because the world is suddenly harmless, but because I now trust my awareness, that I trust in my ability to respond, to protect myself when necessary, and to soften when it's not necessary. Safety, for me, and I think for you too, isn't found in carelessness, right? Safety needs the reassurance of discernment, and that comes only from awareness. I now can say I wholly understand that the nervous system itself was never designed to be on high alert all the time. Not physically, not emotionally, not psychologically. And yet, so many of us unintentionally, chronically live there. I've spent much of my life practicing balance because I've been this long time yogi and I've been very, very disciplined about my practice and my time. And all of that has been through conscious effort. Push and rest, speak and listen, give and receive. And still, all of that had been very effortful for me. So even in the trying, in some senses, I think I was reaffirming the fact that I needed to try so hard to get to that balance. And that last one, that piece about receiving, because receiving happens in ease, that one has been historically the hardest for me. I didn't really grow up in an environment where it was natural to ask and receive with ease. Overflow wasn't familiar. So my nervous system associated worth and receiving with effort and maybe to a large degree with control. And then In my journal that morning, something shifted. Here's what I wrote. A nervous system that recognizes and receives safety feels deeply relaxed. There's no pushing, not even toward thriving, because there's a sense of flow, of softness, of being so open to what is here that every cell in the body knows it is deeply loved. As I wrote that, I was reminded of my childbirth experience. With my second son, I had a beautiful home birth, and in that experience, I wasn't forcing anything. I wasn't forcing life to come through me. I wasn't controlling. I was aware, present, and open. It felt as though I was held by something larger, supported, guided. And that's when I realized something important. When the nervous system is not activated by danger, ease is not learned. It's natural. It just happens. Balance is not something we effort toward. It is what happens when the system is allowed to relax. Equanimity is not some achievement. It's actually the default state of a relaxed isness. When the body feels safe, truly safe, it recalibrates on its own. It finds the balance it most needs without being managed, optimized, tweaked, or pushed. And that was the Kizuki for me. Balance, achieving balance, is not your job. Regulation is not another task to add to your list of to-do. You don't have to work so hard to hold yourself together. Nature already knows how, and as long as you're alive, that nature is at work inside you already without your effort. When safety is present, when awareness is trusted, the body does what it was designed to do. And this realization that I didn't need to effort toward balance anymore just felt like one huge less thing to carry. One less responsibility that I had mistakenly taken on. All that's required is trust. Just trust in nature at work. Trust that ease is not laziness, it's recalibration. That rest is not regression. And yes, this one's my favorite. Trust that nature is the boss, is always the boss, and such a benevolent boss at that. Nature is always there, always in you. Thank you for listening. If you'd like to go a little deeper, I'd love to invite you to the next online live session of Kizuki Journaling. It's happening on January 26 in North America and January 27 in Japan, Australia, and this side of the world. Replays are available if you can't join us live. The theme for this session is Your Unnamed Essence, an exploration of the self beneath identity, roles, and stories. You can find all the details at maey.live under Sessions. I'd love to have you with me for this beautiful, meaningful reflection.